Hello. I know it's only 5:39 Central Time, but I got a few things to do today, so I had to hop on as soon as I could because I'm just afraid it'll be too late when I get another opportunity. So, as usual, I'm going to go ahead and share this out. I'm sure everyone is probably in the midst of commuting from work. Closing out your work day, sitting in traffic. So if you are catching me while you're commuting, I just want you to be safe, okay? Make sure to keep your eyes on the road. And I'm going to be really quick once I get this shared out, right? So you know the drill. I'm going to go ahead and share this in a couple places, give folks an opportunity to join, and then we will get started. So bear with me as you are joining. Make sure you like, give me a heart, love, give me a thumbs up. Let me know you're out there. But until then, just make yourself comfortable as I quickly, hopefully, get this posted out on a couple of platforms. So while I'm doing that, I want you to share as well. As I always say, sharing is caring. And you can't be stingy with this good stuff that I've been sharing. Right? So if you've been tuning in, you know how good it is. So I don't have to go into all of that, and you will see today. Although I intend for today's to be rather quick, because I don't have much time, right? So one more place to share this out, and then I'll be ready to get started. So again, if you're just joining, hop right on, make yourself comfortable, share this out, say hello. You know the drill. Okay, just got it shared out to my last place, I believe. So if you've been tuning in, you know that I am Dr. Jatun Dorsey. I'm an Amazon best-selling author, a speaker, a life and business coach, professor, and a corporate chick, right? So I just left the corporate job and I am about to start with my professor hat. So that's why you see this in the background. But yeah, I'm in another room, but I'll be stepping over to get the class going here shortly. I got a few minutes before class starts for me to deliver this message. As I stated, after class, I just don't know how much energy I'm going to have. So we're just going to go ahead and get this out right now so you guys can get that 30-day challenge fix that I know that you're needing, right? So if you've been tuning in, you know that this is a 30-day challenge, a 30-day productivity challenge to be specific. And it's not only a challenge for me, but it's a challenge for you to get you to increase your productivity while maintaining peace of mind. That peace of mind piece is very important because all too often we feel like we're being productive, but we're overwhelmed, right? Or either we feel like we're being productive and really just being busy, wasting time and not really aspiring towards a particular goal. So with this challenge, I'm hoping that it is putting you in a place of where you're going to start thinking differently, doing differently, right? And speaking of thinking differently, that was the first section of my book, Intentional Living, which is what I've been talking about for these 30 days and that I'll continue to talk about until December 30th. So stick with me. If you haven't caught the previous videos live, then you can definitely go back and catch the replays, so that you can make sure you catch up with exactly what's going on, because the book Intentional Living is intentionally, right? The principles are intentionally categorized in which they are, because it's a build-up, right? A build-up into helping you become more productive in your life, love, and business. So with that being said, it will help a lot if you go back and check out the recordings, the replays, and then catch up with me where I am. Not to say I want you to drop right now, because if you're on, say hello, stick around, and then when you get time after this, during the rest of this week, I want you to binge watch so that you can catch up and be on the same page with me as I progress through these 30 days. So the other thing I want you to do is think about purchasing your very own copy so that you can follow along as I go through these discussions. That's going to be very beneficial to you as well, because there is at the end of each principle, there's a section called Productivity Ponders. So this means that it's getting you into action, right? Getting you to think about these principles that I discussed in a different way, right? So although you're being empowered, inspired, influenced, encouraged, all those things, as you read through the principles, I also want you to get in action. That's the main thing, right? So when we talk about productivity, it means that we're moving. More than moving, we're actually accomplishing something towards a goal. So you have to be specific, which leads me to reminding you about what we've talked about thus far. So in my 30 principles, they're broken out into 5 different sections. So we've already completed the first section, which is shifting your mindset. So we had to lay the foundation for you to progress towards putting these actions into place consistently. But we had to get your mind right first, remember? So we had to reframe your negative thoughts, get rid of that negative Nancy, whether that be your internal thinking or other people that are influencing your thoughts, right? We had to get rid of those things. And hey, Muja, thanks for joining and thanks for the thumbs up. So the principles that we talked about in that first section include creating capacity, don't feel accomplished by mere intentions, distractions are like contractions, developing rituals, closed mouths don't, excuse me, closed mouths don't get fed. Let me get a drink real quick, guys. Do more than get it, keep it. And then we talked about how hard it is to see the picture when you're in the frame, right? Hey there, Mr. Cowan. Thanks for joining. You caught me live this time, right? Thank you for joining in. Yes, and you remember that. Monitor. If you can't monitor it, you can't measure it. So I hope you've already used that in your meeting. I remember you said that. And you make sure you use those air quotes, okay? That's our agreement if you use that. So we've already talked about shifting your mindset, and those were the 7 principles that we went through. So again, if you didn't catch any of those, or should I say if you didn't catch all of those, make sure you go back, replay, watch those, binge watch, so that you can catch up and follow along as we proceed to give you what you need, okay? So then this next section, don't fail to plan. We all heard that before. We know the rest. If you don't plan, you plan to fail, right? So in this section, we are on principle number 12. So we've talked about asking the right questions, not reinventing the wheel, mastering one task at a time, knowing your why, which we talked about yesterday and today, is there's never a perfect moment, right? And I kind of mentioned that throughout these sessions because that's very important to remember. I think that it is definitely something that typically holds us back from being productive, from achieving those goals that we aspire to achieve. And why is that? Because we're always looking for the perfect moment, right? The sign, that perfect sign that's going to fall into our lap and tell us that, you should go forth and do this, and this is how you should do it, right? So we are afraid of doing the work, and we are afraid of taking the risk, and we are afraid of letting go what we're accustomed to. So that's what this principle is all about, right? Letting go and moving on despite that perfect moment not being there. Now, granted, I'm not encouraging you to do some things or take some risk without doing the necessary due diligence, the research, gathering all the data that you need to make an informed decision. However, what I am saying is that don't let these different things that come about in life to distract you, discourage you, deter you from consistently driving towards that goal. And we talked about the why, and we talked about being clear about what your objectives are. So that is definitely important first before you feel comfortable in doing those things, right? And feeling comfortable in moving without things being perfect. So that's why I say make sure that you do the due diligence. Create a spreadsheet, a document, or whatever is your pleasure, right? Your notebook, your notepad, so that you can collect all of your thoughts, all of the data, do the research so that you'll know exactly the steps that you need to take. You'll have a plan A, plan B, plan C, however many plans you think you should have. Now, granted, not each of those plans will have to be used. Nor will we say that once you're on plan A or B or C, that it will happen exactly in the way that you outlined it. But here's the thing. You have a blueprint, right? So with the blueprint, you feel more confident in your steps. And you don't feel like you have to go at it haphazardly, right? Guessing and wondering. You have a plan. So if the plan doesn't go exactly the way that you intended it to do, then the the detours that you can take if need be, right? If you get off track, if you have any distractions, as we've talked about those distractions before, you can go right back to your blueprint, your plan, and say, okay, this is where I left off. This is where I need to pick back up, right? So having that plan is very important. But I want you to ask yourself, what have you put off waiting on the perfect moment? Was it obtaining that degree? Is it starting that business? Is it buying that house? It could be anything, love, life, or business related. What is that thing that you're holding off on and waiting for the perfect moment? And I want to ask you a follow-up question on that. What due diligence have you done in order to drive yourself towards feeling more comfortable about implementing, about taking the steps right now? If you say nothing, then we need to have a conversation outside of this live. Because that's the point, right? You've got to do your due diligence because that's what's going to, again, encourage you, right? And make you feel more comfortable about making those moves when you're not really sure about every single step. Because I guarantee if you wait on the perfect moment, you'll never get started. You'll never get that degree. You'll never buy that house. You'll never start the business. You'll never. And then you'll live in a life full of regrets because you just never. Right? So that shoulda, coulda, woulda mentality is going to be what you adapt if you continue to wait on the perfect moment. So as I always say, there's never a perfect moment. You have to make the moment that you currently have perfect. And the way to make that perfect, the moment that you currently have, is creating that plan, right? Building that confidence and doing what it takes now and what the time that you have, right? Opening the present, literally, so that you can move forward towards these dreams and these goals and these passions, because you don't want to look back after years and feel like you didn't accomplish, right? That you weren't successful. So you can at least say that you tried. And even at that point, if you feel like you failed, I want you to think of it as failing forward. Because had you not taken that leap, had you not taken that risk, you wouldn't know what would have become of that. But because you tried, now you do, and you can take a different avenue. Now you do, and you can take a new avenue. I'm always throwing something out there that sounds like a little rhyme. I might go back and pull all those out and make up me a rap real quick. And that'll be the finale for the 30-day challenge. I don't know if y'all ready for that, though. So as I mentioned, I have to hop off really quick because I do have to put my professor hat on here shortly. So I just wanted to make sure I came on and recorded my 30-day challenge as I promised, because this evening I just don't know, how my sleep is set up right now. Just coming back from vacation, so I need to get some rest. So that's what I intend to do once I make it home. And I hope that you do the same, because we are only on, Tuesday, right? And we already talked about a Sunday of content brings a Sunday well spent brings a week of content. So I hope you followed that video as well, so that you can prepare yourself for this week without any stress, right? Yeah. So again, if you're just tuning in, make sure you share this out. Make sure you say hello, give me thumbs up, heart love, all that good stuff, because when you come into my virtual home, I enjoy the fact that you are welcome, right? I hope you enjoy it as well, and I hope with that you will come in and say hello, because I've introduced myself and I've welcomed you in, right? So if you're just joining, I'm Dr. Jatun Dorsey, and what I enjoy teaching is entrepreneurs, particularly parallelpreneurs, right? How to successfully launch their business and skillfully manage their time, all the while continuing to manage all the many requirements and responsibilities at their day job, while also living out their passion in a stress-free zone. So I hope these 30-day challenges, well, not 30 just yet, but 12 thus far, these principles have been a benefit to you, because I'm going to continue to come on. I'm going to continue to share all this good stuff with you guys. And I hope that you continue to share, follow, and hopefully, I'll try to set up a reminder or schedule it so you'll get a heads up whenever I know ahead of time when I'm going to go live, because I did tell you I can't promise what time it'll be, right? I just pop up. But you can always catch the replay, right? So before I close out, I got a few minutes, and I have to always drop these plugs so you can remember, just in case you don't catch every video. I got to say this so that I don't feel responsible for not letting you know. I got to keep you in the loop. So here's the thing, Date with the Dorseys, that's the podcast my husband and I are recording once a week, right? We actually just posted one or published one today. It's talking about enjoying the journey. So you definitely want to check that out. Again, we talk about the 5 F's. If you want to know what the 5 F's are, you got to catch the podcast, right? So if you are following me on my page or Instagram, anywhere at DRJATUN, you'll see that post. You'll be able to access the link. Check us out. Email us, right? Let us know if you have any questions, any feedback, any recommended topics that you'd like to hear us chat about. We would love to entertain your correspondence. So make sure you reach out there. Also, I've been telling you about, of course, my book, Intentional Living, that was released earlier this year, for which this 30-day challenge is all about. And in that book, we talk about practical tips to increase your productivity while maintaining peace of mind. However, I've been telling you also about the Intentional Living, the anthology book, right? So this is the book where I have some co-authors who are sharing their lived experiences and challenges and barriers that they've come across in life, and particularly how intentional living has helped them overcome and or cope with those barriers, right? So we go from being practical, giving you some tips, to giving you some lived experiences, right? So I hope that you continue to follow so you'll know when the launch is coming out. It'll be early 2018, but you'll be hearing more about that with specific dates and times and book signings and all that good stuff. Again, if you're following me, you'll see posts from me and the co-authors. So we are giving you a little teaser here and there so you'll be ready for what's to come. So that's number 2. Number 3 is your opportunity to complete a survey. Remember, I've posted the survey with each of these videos that I've recorded. I've recorded each day. The survey is really asking for your feedback because I want to make sure that what I'm giving you, what I'm serving you, is of a benefit to you. So if there's other needs that you have, make sure that you complete that survey so that I can hear back from you and make sure that I'm feeding you all that your tummy is desiring, because we gotta come through in 2018, right? And now's the time. Again, now is the time for us to start doing that and not having to wait until January 1st. So let me know, because here's the thing. I know it takes time out of your busy schedule to do that. And because of that, it'll take less than 5 minutes, right? But what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a random drawing for those who have participated, and I have a prize for you, right? So make sure that you do that. It'll only take you about 2 or 3 minutes, and at the end of this month, I'll be doing the drawing and announcing the winner for January, the first part of the year, right? So with that, I am going to go ahead and close out, but thank you again for tuning in. An earlier post, or earlier live today, but you can always catch the replay, right? I got to always remind you, just because you didn't catch me live doesn't mean you can't catch me later. And I understand everyone's schedule, so we are all about, right? We are well involved, so make sure that you do catch it, though. I'll be back on tomorrow with yet another topic, right? Another principle. We'll be on principle 13. We are nearly halfway through this 30-day challenge. Aren't you excited? I know I am. So make sure you continue to tune in. Make sure you share this out. Make sure you do the survey. It's a lot of homework for you. So I hope that you're taking notes, right? On top of the notes that you have taken throughout the discussion of this principle, so that you can immediately apply this in your life so you can achieve success. Remember, I am your success synergist, which really means that together we are working towards the success that you desire in your life, right? It's particular to you and what you need. So again, this is Dr. Jatun Dorsey. Website is there on the lower third. Dr. Jatun, DRJATUN.com. You can also find me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn at DRJATUN. So make sure you connect with me, you follow me, so that you'll know whenever I come live, or if I have events or anything like that, we can stay in communication, okay? So with that being said, I'm wishing you all an awesome rest of your evening. And with that, remember, there's never a perfect moment. You've got to make the moment that you currently have perfect, right? Let's cheers to that. So I look forward to chatting with you tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye.